Hi guys, I am trying to stay consistent doing long form content because I feel like you get the most out of it, but I have been feeling not so great the past week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever. So I am making this video. I'm not feeling super inspired, but I do like being consistent. So let's get into it. I kind of wanted to talk about instant manifestation because I did have an instant manifestation today. And I am going to tell you what has changed from when I could not get an instant manifestation to save my life to now when it's really not that crazy. I do know a lot of people really like the idea of instant manifestation, so they grind hard to get that all the time. To me, I don't really care, whether it takes 5 minutes or 5 days, as long as it's a short amount of time, I don't really care. So let's talk about what happened today. I'm gonna give you the exact breakdown. There is a situation unfolding that I did not like. And I spent about 10 minutes being pissed off. I even was chat GPTing, am I overreacting right now? I am annoyed. And, for about that first 10 minutes, I was all in, annoyed. And then at about that 10-minute mark, I literally just was no, not in my reality. That was the one thought that I thought. I was I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this at all. The conscious thought that I thought was, no, this is not my reality. This is not in my reality. And literally from the time I walked from my kitchen to in here, I thought that in the kitchen and I was on my way to film this video, I got a text. And basically the situation was solved in that one text. That's how quickly instant manifestation can work. When they say it is instant, it can be instant. I'm gonna give you another little example, and this is the one that really proved to me that it can work. When I first started on my law of assumption journey, I remember I was trying to manifest a text from someone, a text or a call. I just wanted them to reach out. And I remember right before I went to go affirm, I was like, this is going to prove to me that manifestation works. Which you're already setting yourself up for resistance when you think something like that. And so I start affirming for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I kind of sit by my phone and I'm like, where is it? And I literally stayed up for hours that night, wavering back and forth, where I was like, nope, they're texting me. And then I would be like, why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? What if this doesn't work? What if I fail at this? I was just going so back and forth. And I literally never got a text or a call from this person. And it was so weird because this wasn't even something I was resistant to. It was more likely that person was going to text/call me than not. I literally wavered myself so hard that night, I guess. And it was just a rough night. Anyway, now about, a few years later, or let's say about a year and a half later, I go to do the same thing from that same exact person. And I literally, I can always see myself in that mirror and it freaks me out. I literally thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna manifest a text or call from this person. I didn't think it was gonna prove manifestation to me. I wasn't going into it thinking, I was just oh, I'd like a text or call from that person. I gave myself 10 minutes. I was I'm gonna affirm for 10 minutes. 3 minutes in, I was you know what? They already called me. They already texted me. I don't need to affirm for this anymore. Like, it's already done. And I went to sleep. I didn't go to sleep, but I like rolled over to go to sleep, you know? Like, I just, like, in my head, I was like, it's already done. Like, I don't need to try for it. I don't need to do anything for it. Like, it's already done. And literally, like, 10 minutes later, if that person did call me. And you can tell drastically the difference between that two situation. That person was just as likely to call or text me both of those nights. Like, there was no difference in that. The only thing is, with this one, I didn't give myself any resistance. I was just like, yeah, it's already done. I wasn't hanging my hat on, like, if they don't text me, the manifestation doesn't work. I wasn't saying anything like that. I was just like, I know it's already done. I know they're going to call or text me. Like, I know that because it's already done. And that was it. So if you have been trying instant manifestation and it's not working, I'm telling you, resistance is probably the reason why. If you are sitting there saying, like, if this doesn't manifest, then like manifestation doesn't work, or like if this doesn't manifest by then like I'm not sure if it works, I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong. If you're thinking any of those thoughts, you probably have too much resistance at that moment to even, like, I don't want to say to attempt, but like you're full of resistance, so it's probably not going to come super easily. How do we fix that? I personally, between that year to a year and a half, I started affirming, like, I get everything that I want instantly. I had a few longer affirmation sessions that were me saying, like, I manifest instantly, things like that. But I definitely did not keep up with that. But I did start saying, I get everything that I want instantly. I constantly tell myself I am a master at manifesting. I'm great at manifesting. I can manifest anything. And I think that self-concept does help. So if you start really pushing towards your self-concept that you are a master manifester and that you do manifest things instantly, you are going to see faster results. Now, resistance is the issue with anyone's manifestations, whether they're instant or slow, whatever. 100%, it is usually resistance that's tripping you up. And it doesn't have to be just like, oh, I have this thing. No, you don't. That's not just what resistance is. It's also, you know, does manifestation actually work? You know, am I actually going to get this? Like, things like that. So you really have to try to get your mind into a state where you're just like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Like, I know it's done. And it's easier to say than it is to obviously do. But once you can start, like, getting yourself to a peaceful state, I think it comes a lot quicker. And I know you don't have to be at a peaceful state to manifest. I've said before, you know, like, I've manifested things while, you know, crying and upset and things like that. I'm not saying that you have to, but I do think you need to be in a state of not wavering back and forth. Anyway, so my whole spiel, I'm just going to break this down. Sorry, I just feel I feel like I'm doing this not because it's going to be a phenomenal video, but just to kind of show myself that I can be consistent. So I'm just gonna cut the crap and kind of break it down in 2 seconds. Work on your self-concept. And wavering is usually what's standing in between you and any manifestation, whether it's instant or, you know, you're just wanting to manifest something in general. What's standing in your way is most likely wavering. And literally, when I say wavering, I don't just mean thinking like, oh, I don't have that. No, it can come in different forms. So when you are watching your mental diet, make sure that you're looking for all the little sneaky things. You know how when they say you're on a, like, when you're on a diet, to be careful about the sneaky things like dressing that's actually, 200 calories for 2 tablespoons. I don't know why I always circle back to diets, but you know how they say that? You need to do that with your mental diet too, because remember, wavering can come in sneaky little ways where it's you saying like, well, this is going to prove whether manifestation works or not. You just proved to yourself that you're not sure if manifestation works. So guess what? It's going to choose it not working. Like you're showing these, when wavering comes up, it's not something that's like, I don't want you to think of it as like just negative thoughts or things like that. It's showing you where the holes in your assumptions are. Does that make sense? So if you like start to waver and the thought that you're constantly thinking is like, what if this takes forever? That is showing you where the hole in your assumption is. If you are thinking, what if this takes forever? That is basically a red flag of you think manifestation takes a long time. That is what it's telling you. So you need to, when you get a wavering thought like that, you need to sit back and say, no, like manifestation's always instant. It's already done. Like I don't have to worry about the time because it's already done. Like that is a sign to check yourself, okay? Like that is a red flag that is telling you, it's like when you need to get an oil change and the light comes on. It's not telling you that you're out of oil, but it's telling you that something is freaking wrong. So you need to check that. That's all wavering is. It's just a little beep beep. You have a problem. You need to fix it. Because you're not wavering about like bad shit, are you? When you go to think, when you see like a little paper on your car, you probably automatically are like, oh my gosh, that's a ticket. If you had like the most perfect of all perfect self-concepts where you think nothing bad can happen to you, you would probably think, oh, I bet that's like an advertisement or something. Okay, but like most people aren't going to waver where they're like, no, why would it be a ticket? I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just saying, when you think bad things can happen, you're probably not getting these wavering thoughts where you're thinking like, no, that couldn't happen to me. But when you have these good things that you're trying to implement, that you keep thinking these bad things actually might happen. Does that make sense? Maybe I should have waited a few days before making this video. I feel like I don't make sense. Oh gosh, my throat still hurts. I was literally throwing up yesterday. I had a giant road trip yesterday. 18 or 19 hours it took me. And literally like 3 hours in, I had to throw up in my car because I was on the highway. Thank God I had like a Hardee's cup that I threw up in, and I like kept thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, like what if this Hardee's cup is not big enough? And like I threw up and I was like scared I was gonna throw up all over myself. Oh my gosh, I was freaking the fuck out. But I was like on the highway, and it was like I left at midnight, so it was probably like 2 or 3 a.m. that this happened. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But thankfully the Hardee's cup was okay, and after I threw up I felt so much freaking better. So that actually worked out fine, but I was just like, oh my gosh. So like I said, I've been a little under the weather. I've been sleeping like 12 hours a day any day that I can. I don't know, but I feel better today. I wanted to come and make this video because I do want to be consistent, and I haven't been. And even my short form videos, I've been like doing like 1 or 2 a day because I just haven't been feeling it. I also like looked at this video of me from like 3 days ago, and my face is so swollen and my eyes are like this. I'm like, dang, I really did not feel too well. So I'm just trying to keep myself accountable And so yeah, so if this video does not make any sense or just is so shitty, I'm sorry. But anyway, have a great day, guys, and I hope you have the best week ever, and I'll see you later. Bye.